Body and Soul, great jazz standard that I'm going to cover today. I've covered it before, but I keep getting requests for songs I've done before, and why not do them again? So, I have this book right here, Art Tatum. These are not transcriptions, these are kind of arrangements, and my guess about them is that Art played a chorus or two, and somebody else transcribed it, and kind of just pulled it together so it would be like on 2 pages, just one. Art probably played several choruses, and then they probably took, pieces of it and pasted it together. I really have no idea, but I don't think Art Tatum sat down and wrote this out. And this is one I've been working on called If I Had You, and one of the riffs I use there is taken directly from this book. Now, the fingering in this book, I'm pretty sure, is not the way Art Tatum would finger some of these things. I have it on very good authority that many of Art Tatum's riffs were done with just 2 fingers, right? And the one I just did there, right? There's a couple of fingers involved, but the part here, it's just 2 fingers. And somebody has also asked me to just do a video about, riffs that I like. So I don't know if I can do that, but I could certainly, as I go through the song, I can certainly show you some of the runs or the riffs that I use and things I'm working on. All right, and that's something very recent for me. Is this? Could be used on a D7 or on an A flat 7. They sound equally good. So on D7 and on A flat 7. And you really don't need to play a chord or anything because you're covering that chord, right? There's that rootless voicing of either an A flat altered chord or a D9 chord with 13. All right. And so real slowly, I'll show you the riff, okay? All right, now those are like the pickup notes. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're triplets. 1, 2, 1, 2. And of course, how fast did Art Tatum do it? Lightning fast. Here, we're using the Barry Harris idea of taking a diminished chord like this and finding one of the dominant 7th chords to use. Frequently, whatever key you're in, if it's D flat, for instance, a half step below is a C major. That would be a good. But you want to try to end like, some place where it kind of helps define the chord that you're going to. So I ended on the 7th there. So here we're using chord inversions, and it's kind of like drop 2, I'm taking the chord, and the 2nd note from the top I'm playing down here, and I'm not even taking it out, I'm just adding it down here. Now, here we go, up the scale. Okay, we're going to E flat, so I'm going to talk about that in just a minute, but if we were doing drop 2, kind of looks like a D flat 6th, but it's really B flat minor. The same thing works for either chord. Right? If you were in D flat major, you do it that way. With B minor, if we take the drop 2 and bring that B flat down here, then it sounds a little bit more like B flat minor, at least on the first chord. And then we're going to E flat. Now, I think too much of the time we focus on those diminished chords as passing chords when we're doing block chords. But there's another approach too, and I learned this from like studying big band arranging. Big band uses this technique a lot with 5 saxophones, or 4 trumpets, or 4 trombones. I'm going to pretend like we're going to this E flat instead of this, okay? So how could we get to that besides using this diminished chord? What could we do? We could just chromatically go into it. So check this out. I need to probably add that third in or put it up there maybe. All right, and there's a lot of chromatic motion going on there. You're going from D minor, and that's what it is. It's a D minor 7th to an E flat minor 7th. All right, you might think, well, that doesn't sound quite as good, and maybe you're right. To play a diminished chord there and then go up, that sounds a little bit more typical. But if you're trying to find variety in your approach, try this method. All right there. Well, it's more of an A flat altered, when you do this. So I'm not going to do it there. All right, looking for riffs? Okay, here you go. Altered. Think of an E7 and go. All right, there's like an E flat 9th chord, starting on the 6th, the flat 5, and then the chord. All right. And then thinking pianistically, you can run it all the way down the keys if you want. But a tritone away, same riff works. And it's more of an altered sound, right? Because you got the sharp. Now, if you were going to reanalyze it, now this is the sharp 9. That's the root, flat 9, 7th, plus 5 or flat 13, 3rd. So I have been working with these Art Tatum climbing runs, and that was not really one of them. So I have been working on some of these Art Tatum climbing runs, but I don't think I've really done anything in this particular key. However, one thing that I've noticed, say you're on the A flat 7th and you're moving to D flat, okay? What he uses is the D flat harmonic minor scale. So that's this. And then he'll just make a pattern out of that. And it's usually something that fits nicely under the fingers too. So, all right, so, and then something like that, or even like this. Now this one doesn't seem to fit under the fingers all that well, but actually, it kind of does. You got that little shape, and then you got like that. Yeah, got that shape. That's in the scale. That's in the scale, and then this kind of hard one. All right, but That's a simple riff of, using that shape, right? One of the rootless voicings. So that's why you study those rootless voicings, not just to comp with your left hand, but to use them with your right hand. All right, that time I used the A pentatonic, right? That's another one that you could use. And always go for those flat fives if you can.